Hello YouTube, this is Terry. Somebody told me this recipe years ago and it's absolutely fantastic. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to cook, and if you're somebody who don't really have time to cook, but you want something really tasty, that this is going to be for you. Okay, your first job is to start the pasta. That's the longest job. So what I always do is get that going and then probably kill 5 minutes because you don't need to do anything for that first bit. This takes the longest, so get it in the pan straight away. And I've just forgotten another secret ingredient actually, tomato puree. So that's bacon, 2 stock cubes, a tin of tomatoes, the pasta and tomato puree. You're going to need about a third of this tube. Again, about 70 pence. Probably $1, not expensive. I reckon you could do this entire meal for about £2, $2.50, $3. Okay, so let's get on with the pasta. Dead easy job. Get the pasta in the bowl, work out roughly how hungry you are. When it looks not quite enough, that's when to stop. Then get loads and loads of boiling water in there. Okay, the kettle's on, you can hear it in the background. Time to put the pasta in the pan. Well, I probably used half a bag there, probably a third of the bag. There's quite a little bit in there. Most, you know, if you look at recipes, they'll say measure it and weigh it. I'll forget it. Just put a load in. Make sure the water covers all of the pasta. Your first job, as soon as the boiling water goes in, is give it a good stir, because it's at this point that the pasta's more vulnerable to stick to the pan. Use a wooden thing, because if you use a metal thing, it's going to burn your fingers. Okay, the pasta's on. There's really nothing much to do at the moment. It's in there. It'll start to boil. Make sure that the water's a good inch, 2 inches above the pasta, because that's going to soak up really fast. It's probably going to be a 20-minute job to cook that. The rest of the ingredients they don't take much time at all. So I shall move on to that in a second. I normally nip outside for a fag at this point. I'm sure you don't smoke. But I need to kill 5 minutes because there's nothing to do at this stage and I don't really want to watch it. Okay, the bacon. The key thing here is to cut it into very small pieces. Now you can take the fat off if you're a health food freak. But you know what, I don't bother. You only live once. Okay, so the pasta's boiling lovely. I'll put the kettle on as well, because I'm going to need to put more water in there in a second. Very quickly that'll soak up all the water, and you'll need to replace that water as well. While that's doing, prepare your sauce. I stick it in a bowl first. You don't have to, but I just find it easier this way. Tin tomatoes, oxos, stock cubes, tomato puree. Okay, first job. Get the tin tomatoes in there. A really good squirt of tomato puree, about a third of the tube really. Then sprinkle the stock cubes or the oxos over the top. And it goes to that kind of reddish brownish sauce. Trust me, you're going to love it. Okay, give that a good old stir, and that's going to sit there for a little bit while you start your bacon. And that's the next job. Okay, it's time to add some more water. I don't know if you can see from that shot, you know, it's only been going about 5 or 6 minutes, and most of the water's, well, it was about 2 inches above the pasta line. And now the pasta's starting to show above the water. As soon as you start seeing the pasta show above the water, get a good load of water in there. You want to make sure that when you taste it, you don't get that tacky feeling, you know what I mean? That you can tell when it's done. As soon as it stops being tacky, that's it, you've done it. Okay, now it's time to do the bacon before we put the sauce in there. Now you do need to cook the bacon. It hasn't got to be really well cooked. It's just got to be kind of, you know, not quite that pink. It hasn't got to be overcooked. But once the sauce goes in there, it doesn't do much cooking. So whatever cooking's going to happen, it's going to happen right now. I always stick a little bit of margarine in the bottom. Once that's melted, we need to add the bacon. I mean, if you're putting fat in there, like I'm doing, you know, little bits of this stuff, then after about a minute of cooking, there's going to be loads of fat going in there. Now you can pour that away. You can pour that away. I don't. I keep it all in there. But you can pour it away if you feel like being healthy. Get the bacon in. What you don't want to do is let loads of bacon stick to the side. You've probably got a non-stick pan. I don't have a non-stick pan. But for the first minute perhaps, you need to give it a bit of attention. Because as soon as that fat starts to turn into runny fat, it won't stick. And just make sure the bacon is evenly spread so it all gets cooked really quickly. If it's all in one great big lump, the stuff on the top isn't going to cook, obviously. Perhaps another 2 minutes of this and I'll be happy with that. This pasta's doing great. It really doesn't need much attention. That's probably been going for about 10 minutes now. Okay, it's time to add in my wonderful sauce. Don't forget, all it is a tin of chopped tomatoes, a third of a tube of tomato puree, 2 beef stock cubes, Oxos, to you and me. Give it a nice stir. And once you see the bacon, you know what I mean by almost done. It goes kind of white and fluffy. And there's no danger now of that bacon sticking to the side of the pan because it's so lubricated with all that, with that fat. There's no chance. Okay, time to put the sauce in the bacon pot. That bacon, I don't know if you can see that, that's really good. Now, add the sauce. And I don't like pasta that's dry, you want loads and loads of sauce on the pasta. Give that a good stir now. Now it's really, really important that you don't leave this now on anything other than a very, very, very low heat because it'll just start to burn the bottom. You're going to get brown bits and it's horrible. You see it's bubbling already, you don't really want that. So what I do is turn the hob down to perhaps its lowest setting, 1. Well, you can't really get much lower than 1, can you? That pasta, you can tell really that it's not quite done. I don't know if you can see that. It starts to go white around the edges and it's not doing that yet. That's a few minutes away. I'll probably nip out for another fag now. I can just leave these two to get on with it. By the way, I don't know which country you're in, but a fag is a cigarette. It's nothing else. That's what you want to see. You want to see the bacon and the sauce just bubbling nicely. Probably time for my first pasta tasting. The bacon and the sauce are still... That'll simmer for as long as you want it to. That bacon will just carry on soaking up that lovely sauce. Okay, I'm very nearly done. It's time for the final pasta tasting. So, just take a little bit out of there. That's perfect. It's not tacky. It's not too, you know, soft. It's just right. Now all I've got to do is drain that pasta and add the pasta to that pan. Clever little strategy I've worked out because then I've only got one pan that's got the sauce in it, so it's easier to wash. You've probably got a dishwasher. I don't have one. Okay, now just pour that pasta straight into that dish. The next job is to get a really big plate in my case. Pour it all out into a plate. Wow, look at that. There's absolutely loads. You could probably get full on half of that. So there you go. That's my pasta dish. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. That's Terry's pasta dish. It's right there. I'm just about to eat it, so I ain't going to talk long because I'm absolutely starving. I really hope that you'll have a go at trying this dish out. Thank you very much for clicking on my YouTube and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Bye.